Let's see if the camera's working. It is. Awesome. Thank you for coming to my professional development. We're going to talk a little bit about PLCs and how they implement change on our campuses. I know that the district has a huge push with us utilizing PLC committees and professional learning committees within campus. I also know that they have even allotted us a time frame, an hour during the day, so that we can have the opportunity to collaborate, come together, and to utilize new principles and new research to grow in our field. I also know that some of us are very apprehensive to having another culture change. We are teachers that are used to, from what I know, what I've heard, been in our classroom and like to do things on our own. But utilizing PLCs and professional learning committees could give us an opportunity to really grow, to look at our data, see where we need to improve on, and to address and change our framework according to our standards utilized by the TAPER report from last year. And technology is awesome. The benefits of implementing data during professional learning communities in Jasper, Texas. I talked to you just a second before about our present culture and kind of what it is and what we have going on. I also know too that we're heavy on turnover. Every year we have many teachers that turn over. I also know that I'm the only English 1 teacher on campus. Ms. Casey, you're the only English 2 and AP teacher on campus. Ms. Strickland, you are the only English 4 teacher in college readiness on campus. So we do not even teach the same English. I mean, I teach expository, Ms. Richmond, you teach exposition and persuasive writing. So it's different. And so I think too, we're all like, well, we don't teach the same thing, and it's not beneficial. But when we really do go back and we look at the TEKS and we look at the standards, and we see that there are several different standards that do align, okay, it is going to be beneficial. Apathy within our culture. Some of us already know that, we talk about it, it's very apparent on campus. We are very apprehensive to what's going on. We're very apprehensive to thank you for moving that mouse, appreciate that. We're very apprehensive when we see change. We have a lot of cultural diversity here. We have a lot of low socioeconomic status. We have a lot of our students are at risk. We have high turnover in administrators, high turnover in superintendents. And I do think that in itself is also one of the benefactors of us pressing so hard and causing a barrier. The benefits of implementing data resource professional learning communities in Jasper. The what, okay? The what, the how, and the why. The what. Research on implementing data to build aligned benchmarks. Some of the things that I've seen, I'm pulling benchmarks out from previous years and seeing what they're at. They're not aligned. They're just basically not aligned. If you go through some of the questions and you look at some of the 8A and what they have marked or on tag, on DMAC, they have the alignment. Some of our alignments on DMAC are wrong. So for us to be able to dig through and decipher what we need to keep and what we don't need to keep is crucial to implementing and creating positive essays for what we're doing. So I do feel that having a TAPER report and aligning those benchmarks and making sure we are creating standards, making sure that they're aligning with our YAGs. What is our YAGs? What does our WAG say? Our week at a glance. What are we supposed to be focusing on? I do know too, going through and looking back at the benchmark one does not align. The one that was from last year does not align with the campus curriculum on poetry and drama. So, just going back and looking at that and seeing where poetry and drama lies and seeing what TEKS we need to touch on to make sure those are going in with what we're doing is crucial. Utilizing TEKS to create benchmarks and then creating our lesson plans. I don't know about you, but I know for me, one of the practices that I have done in the past is creating my lesson plan for the week, making sure it's kind of aligned with my WAG, but not really taking those TEKS, breaking those TEKS down, and structuring my lessons around those TEKS, okay? Or taking the benchmark at the end of the 6 weeks kind of summarizes what we did, instead of creating the benchmark first, creating our objectives, making sure our kids know what we want them to learn, making sure that we are explaining to them what we want from them, creating those higher order thinking questions, giving them a clear learning expectation on what we want them to have. Those things are all crucial to what we need to accomplish with our benchmarks. One of the other things about our lesson plans, just to touch on that while we're here, lesson plans have to be implemented on Fridays, each Friday, okay? So we're supposed to have, in the last 6 weeks, we did it pretty well. We got our benchmark done the week before we were supposed to. Awesome us, okay, our PLCs. But I do recall that, we did get audited on our lesson plans, and we as a unit did not have our lesson plans all turned in at the same time. So that means that we still have to do that part. We still have to make sure that we are aligning, we are creating those objectives, and we are still implementing the TEKS and the resources that we need. The how. How are we going to do it? How are we going to utilize our team? How are we going to implement change? How are we going to implement a unity of a unified culture? Okay, one of the T-shirts that we got this year was Jasper Pride Unified, right? Okay, so we have Jasper Pride Unified on our shirt. We have Jasper Family on the back of it. But we are so opposed to working together and to collaborate how we're supposed to. Professional learning committees, we use them all the time. All the time. Okay? What is a PLC? Why are we so opposed to it as a team? PLCs are what we do all the time. If I go into the hallway and I see Miss Casey down the hall, ideally in a normal, not such a different setting, we would have a couple of teachers teaching English 1. We have a couple of teachers teaching English 2, a couple of teachers teaching English 3. When we go into the hallway, I would say, hey, we're both teaching on the same thing. We both have the same framework, right, Ms. Casey? And I would go into the hallway and I would say, how did your drama piece go on Romeo and Juliet? Like, did you like that, or what worked for you? Because I show Act 2 and we read Act 1, but maybe not so much because Act 1's really long. If we even discuss that or even have that conversation or talk about what we're doing, we are automatically creating a professional learning community, right? Would you agree? If we are discussing, I don't know, if I'm reading the Pearl, okay, and I'm asking, hey, did they read that last year? Because they are really, they're catching this really quick. And you tell me, oh no, but we did an excerpt in our textbook, right? Okay, so then that's automatically creating that professional learning community. We have to make sure that we are not forgetting what we're doing. We are professionals and we are lifelong learners. Our job is to take information, to apply it, to utilize it, and then if it doesn't work, try something else and keep on going, okay? The part of being a lifelong learner is always make sure that we are still learning. So if something doesn't go the way we were supposed to go, then darn, let's do it again. We do not need to create a barrier because of another initiative. We need to create opportunity for us to understand it. That goes with everything that we're doing here. Sports, communities with schools, parents, and not being resistant to change. I do feel that bringing PLCs and bringing that RTI process and bringing those things to this district is going to be super beneficial. As you know, this is my first year here, and where I came from, we had PLC meetings. They're Friday mornings before school. I love that they give us an hour a day for PLC. I love that they give us the opportunity to plan our curriculum, to see what we need to do, to align our curriculum to state standards, and to get our students to where they need to be. remembering that we are lifelong learners. You know, we're touching on that one more time. Lifelong learner means that I am going to create an environment that I can grow. So if we're in a PLC meeting, and I know that we have various resources for it, I know that some of our administrators are taking Relay and GSE, and they're bringing it into our PLCs. And we have our campus curriculum coordinator coming in, and she's giving us our PLC information. Utilizing that information to the way it uses for us, but it doesn't always have to look that way. It doesn't always have to be 50 minutes, sit down, discuss a protocol, 30 seconds discuss the protocol, 2 minute discuss the protocol, 1 minute discuss the protocol. It could be, hey, how is this going for you? What did your test look like? What are some things you need to go back and touch on and reteach for 4-6 weeks so that those students still have those alignments for 19 figure B, or for 8A, or for 5A, or for SA, or for 2A, and making sure that those alignments and those initiatives are still being drawn out and still being played. Staying positive and embracing change, okay? Our current taper report for this year, I just kind of utilized, let's see, 2017. Our English ones for the state for 2017 is 64%. For 2016, it is 65%. So that's for the state standards. Our district is 50% and our 55%. 2016 is higher than 2017. Our 2016 was 50% of our students scored and met standard, and 50% in 2017. Our campus-wide as a whole, 50%. Our African American students, low with a 37%. Our Hispanics were rather high, and our whites were above average at 65%. You know, as well as I do, that we have a high African American population here. Not only that, but we have a very low SES demographic standing here. We have about 86% of our students that are at risk, and we have huge teacher turnover. You have all of these odds that are working against us. So our PLC and our professional learning community is crucial to the importance and the alignment of our students. Our PLC committee is, I think, is one stepping stone to creating better standards for our kids, for creating a better opportunity for our kids, and for creating growth. Okay? You have a taper report in front of you. I'm going to give you just a couple of minutes to look at that. If you have any questions, let me know. I know that, Ms. Richmond, you've never seen a taper report before, or never gone through it. Right, okay. So what do you think here? Do you think that this is something that, have you seen this before? Have you?
Yes.
Yeah, okay. So this is something that we really do need to discuss, and we really do need to talk about. I know that our U.S. history was really high. We need to break that down. Okay, you got that? All right. So our Algebra 1, okay? Algebra 1, 2017, we have about 83%. 83% was state average in 2017. 2016 was 78%. Our district, y'all, is really low. We're at 69%. We are about 15% below state standard, okay? So not only do we, as an English community, need to take our job more serious, because we, again, are below standard by about 9% for our first year, but then last year we were down 14% for meeting state standard. You know, we really do need to promote growth, and I think with taking the collaborative learning and taking the things that we are so opposed to and dropping those barriers and dropping what we're doing, could really help the growth of our students. Our biology, 86% was state standard. Ours was decent. It was at a 78%. Our kids do rather well. Science is a strong suit for them. And a lot of them love Mr. Booty. Okay? If I had a name like Mr. Booty, I would love me too. Okay? But the kids love him. They really do. They really do take for him. And he spends so much time looking at his data, and he spends so much time looking at his assessments and breaking those apart and seeing what those kids really do need. You know, there's a difference between learning